At times during my lessons, it becomes a teaching moment for myself and how to realign my pedagogy. And this happened recently with one of the students in the studio. Yes, today's subject of Tuesdays with Patrons is the skeleton keys of music. It's actually a post I'm writing right now on Patreon. Every Tuesday I upload, and I'm here present on my Patreon page trying to give back to the community that's been with me for such a long time. Many of you have left, and hopefully new people will come and support me via Patreon. And so I dedicate my Tuesdays to editing like this and to my Patreon page. So I recently had a discussion about arpeggios with a student, and the logic of the alphabet, or the order, I call it the order of notes, or the musical alphabet, defeated her. Not only was she unable to understand that G goes to A, B, C, so we actually skip, we do this right here, but then when you go up and down, that the order goes in this direction, G, then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and vice versa, you go in the opposite direction. That confused her. And then, of course, I had to explain that there are half steps, which she had never known in music. I pulled up my keyboard right here to show that this right here is possible, and explaining there's no key here, and thus those are both in the half steps. Everything is whole steps. Tapes on the cello, and I explain everything quite well, which I thought I did. Then we get to right here, the G major 2-octave arpeggio. Again, my students ask me, why must I learn arpeggios and scales, dexterity and agility? And so when we get to this, she does fine, but then when we get to the top part right here, completely loses it. Doesn't know where these notes are. Doesn't even know where this note is. But if I take all the fingerings away and say, well, what are these notes? Well, if you look at this, this is his first finger and the fourth finger on the A string. Eventually, she was able to get to it, and as I walked her through it, she was able to understand how to play this fingering. And then she's like, well, I play this correctly. Why can't I just simply play this all on the A string? And I said, yes, you can do that. That's not incorrect. But then I started talking about which is more efficient if you were to speed things up. And that's where I said, yes, she asked me, well, why should I learn this? What was I doing before was incorrect? And I say to her, no, it's not incorrect, but essentially what I'm doing throughout not only my personal lessons, but also my channel here on YouTube, is I'm providing to you, the viewers, the students, a set of skeleton keys, if you will, to music. I'm not just teaching you how to eat a wonderful dish. I'm teaching you how to cook it from scratch. I'm teaching you, I'm bringing you in the kitchen, the musical kitchen. I'm showing you what goes behind everything, why you should shift, why this right here is a fifth position shift, and why it's a physical 1, 3, 2 across. I'm teaching everyone how to think in multi-dimensions, in multi-ways, in addition to the basics. So we walk along the very basic way, and then I show you, you can play every single major octave, every single major 1 octave arpeggio, as long as it starts on the fourth finger, as long as you can start the arpeggio with a fourth finger on the lowest note, you can play a 1 octave arpeggio, and it doesn't matter the key signature. It doesn't matter. In other words, you can call it a life hack, but it's honestly, it's like you're coming into the hotel of music, and I give you a single room key to a single suite. and you have access to that and that alone. You walk up that corridor, you go into your room, and you learn your song in D major. But what if I were to provide you the skeleton key to the hotel of music, so you can go into every single suite without any limitations? So if one day you wanted to explore a different one, you could then explore into that. So you're not ready to explore certain parts of the hotel, and maybe it's a little exotic, but I don't want to limit you guys into thinking I must go this and this and this. I'm providing you these tools. A while back, I made a video about this. And this right here is another skeleton key of music. And I make a Lord of the Rings reference, the one fingering to rule them all, even in the font of the Lord of the Rings. And this is, per definition, exactly the skeleton key you need for all major and all minor scales for all of time. I'm not teaching you a single fingering. I'm teaching you every fingering for the Ionian and Aeolian. I'm giving you the whole steps and half steps. It's right there in front of you. I'm giving you the full breakdown of open hand positions and closed hand positions. This is the skeleton key of all major and minor scales in the Western world. And so I guess I have to open this up to, of course, my patrons. I'm going to upload this first and then upload this later to the channel. I want to ask viewers, I want to ask learners, when is it ready? When, I can't even come up with the words. When are you ready? When do you want to be given not just a single key to a single room in a single corridor, but how would you like to have carte blanche and go visit anywhere you want to? You know, in the world of video gaming, which has become quite, popular in the past 30 years, but it's definitely in the past, 15 years with the advancement of graphics engines. I bring this up because it's quite interesting. There is two different types of gamers. There's those gamers that really like structure, go here, jump on this platform, win this prize, and save this princess. But then there are the other gamers, a new generation, that want to just explore, not be limited, limitless. They're called open world gaming. And a lot of the most popular games out there, especially Breath of the Wild from Zelda, from Nintendo, is a fantastic open world. You can go anywhere. And so one part of my studio, my students come to me and they want to be able to not be limited. They want to see everything. They want to consume everything, play everything, or at least be able to know, okay, here comes a side of a mountain I want to climb. Can I climb it? Well, in Breath of the Wild you can. You'll slip and you'll fall if it's a really tall one. But what if I were to give you something that'll aid you on that climb and you can get to the top? And this is one of those aids right here. That is one of those aids right here. Another thing that aids you, of course, is this, going back to my arpeggios. The fingering, the 1-4-1, there it is, right in my scale book. 1-4-1, 4-1-4-2, shift 1-3-2. It's as clear as day. I'm sitting here, I'm literally showing you, take the eggs, take the flour, take the milk, put them together, and you bake a cake. A little bit of sugar and starch too. And I show you everything. These are the basic ingredients of music. I know I'm making gaming references and hotel references and cooking references, but it's important for me to try to connect with the students, with the viewers, to maybe realign how I'm offering this. Because when I'm talking to 40,000 of you plus, and you come from all walks of life, from all cultures, from all different experiences, wouldn't you want to have that skeleton key available to you at the same time shown the very basic way? Wouldn't you want the ability to go open world and explore anything, go anywhere, absolutely limitless, understanding that you only have a twig to run around with and beat down little goblins, but at the same time you're not limited? You know, you can go a one way. You can go to that single room in the hotel of music and stay there and be happy. And a lot of you are. And of course, that's why we go very structured with the D major and the G major and the C major. Play etudes, play songs, repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's the same thing with repetition, 5 repetitions. I'll talk about that on the channel. Giving all these things, giving time. And a lot of you, I've noticed also that sometimes, you will ask questions presuming there is a quick answer. There is no quick answer. There needs to be a significant time investment. You can't take lessons every other week and expect something. You can't take lessons weekly and expect something. You have to be passionate about this for a great period of time. Anyway, that's a different subject. But I'm getting just backtracked, or maybe on a rant. I just want to talk about the skeleton key right here. What is the skeleton key, and is it worth it to try to share these secrets? Is it worth it to bring you into the kitchen where we're cooking up wonderful music? Is it worth it to show you how a musician thinks and how you can think abstractly to recall certain partitions in music? Is it honestly worth it? Or should I go very basic, which I think I do. A lot of the lessons that I teach on the channel are very straightforward. Bowings, fingerings, talk about phrasing, and that's it. And it's in a very short, less than 10 minutes format, because a lot of you don't have time to even watch more than 2 or 3 minutes, which usually I see on my analytics on YouTube. How are you guys learning when you're watching only 2 minutes or maximum 2 minutes? That's not learning, especially when I do a 9-minute, 10-minute video and the average view rate is 90 seconds. You're not learning anything, But anyway, I still get backtrack. I do want to ask that honest question to my patrons here. The skeleton keys of music. Is it worth it showing you these keys? Is it worth it showing you the secrets, the life hacks, whatever you want to call it? Because, yes, I'm a little disillusioned, and I want to see, well, if any of that stuff is worth it. I will continue to do it, because I think if I were to reverse my life, when I started learning cello back in the late 1980s, and if I were given the chance to figure out all key signatures with a single fingering on the cello when it comes to major and minor scales, I think I'd want to learn that, because I'm teaching my body a physicality. I'm recalling what it physically feels like, how it flows up and down the fingerboard. And the same thing goes with that. Maybe I just need to explain it better. Get off of the partition, get away from things like this, and get more into the feeling of playing it. And of course, I've got this inspiration to ask my students and my viewers to put on blindfolds and experience a key signature kinesthetically. I use this word so much, and I think a great deal of you don't really latch on to the understanding that playing this instrument here or this instrument here is a kinesthetic experience. You don't experience it with these. Your eyes are obsolete. You experience it with every other part, every other sense. But the last thing you do is experience it with your eyes. And so many of you are so, caught up in trying to understand what's on the page, and you're forgetting about what's actually happening on these fingerboards of various instruments. But again, I get on a different rant right there. So please help me understand what this is about. Should I continue and offering the skeleton keys to this hotel of music, or should I just reserve that for never? Your comments are always appreciated. I'm going to get back to editing my videos, which are great, by the way. And if you like my content, please subscribe. It shows YouTube I'm doing good work. I'm here on Patreon every single Tuesday for until the cows come home. This is a completely unedited video, too. I want to give my patrons as much as I can, and I haven't done that enough ever since I started my Patreon. So if you want to have a direct conversation with me every single Tuesday, I will be here on Patreon. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Leave me some comments, and I will see you on Patreon every Tuesday. Ciao, ciao.